Okay, right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over a couple of ideas for scaffolds for EL students or any students really who might have lower reading levels, lower listening levels, whatever it might be. Some things to hopefully stimulate and engage them and get them to respond to questions using WeVideo. Um, so I'm going to use my little zoom feature here as I go through on the bottom right-hand corner. Here's the video. I chose this from Discovery. This was like Lisa Olson called out. I just searched for the Missouri Compromise. And to do that, I did a search for Missouri Compromise, and I searched down here and clicked on editable videos, and then I found this one. Now, you might have another video you really like, but really it's more about the questions you ask and how you try and engage the students, not necessarily specific videos, I think. But in any case, I grabbed this video, then I went in here, I clicked on the video, I clicked on these three dots and downloaded it to my hard drive. Then once I had it there, it downloaded right here, and I dragged and dropped it into my library, and then I had it available to me. As you can see right here at the top, there's where it dropped in. It's about 2 minutes 19 seconds long, so not a long video. Now what I used here was some text and some banners to try to add some vocabulary scaffolds into this. So here you can see on this that as it's going through, a banner pops up there in this left-hand corner showing me what is a slave state, because she's talking about slave states in the video. Now to do that, all I did was I went to text. You can use the motion text if you like. I just use the static text because I want something that just stands out. But you might use a static text and have something fancier. I would say just keep it simple, because all you want to do is call their attention to that. Then I just drag and drop this text onto wherever I want it. Now I like to add a transition. I like to just add a crossfade on either side personally, just because aesthetically you can see it fades it in a little bit. Whereas if I don't have that transition, it'll just pop up there in this kind of less aesthetically pleasing way. But that's your choice. You can just leave the banner there. So again, my text, static. I use this banner because I can change colors and do some interesting things with it. Now what you can do, as Lisa pointed out in her WeVideo, you can click on the edit button on the pencil. I just double click the clip to get into your text editor here. Now let's say I want to use a vocabulary word. Let's say I want to use, well, let's just put Missouri for right now. We'll just add that in. Now let's say I just want to change this to call attention to it. I might change the color of it right there. Change it to like a red. Maybe I want to increase the size a little bit of that one. And you can see now Missouri is pretty large compared to the description. So we could call Missouri the state which ignited the Missouri Compromise debate, or something like that. The free state, slave state debate. Now I have a text box here, and I can move it anywhere on the screen I want. Let's say this is not, it looks kind of ugly there, so let me stretch it out a bit so that way it fits. I can also change it so it's centered, so that way they can see it. I can put it here or here, wherever I want. I can adjust just the size of this one, so that way the description is a little bigger. I'll keep that smaller. I can also just take maybe one word like slave state. Oops, I put state, free state, slave state. I can maybe take those two and underline them, so that way it calls attention to those specific words also, or maybe just boldface them or underline, italicize, whatever you want to do. I'm going to save that right now. I've already built in a couple vocabulary here. One of the ones I used was slave state. I call attention to it by making the vocabulary word red, and then underlining other key words in that definition, perhaps. I also did free state. As it went through, the video was mentioning these, and all I did was click here and add. Actually, I just did the first one, and then after I made one, I could actually click and hold my left mouse button and then drag across here and then just do a Control C to copy this, and then I can just insert it, that same formatting, whatever I had, and then I just need to double click in here to change the text that I had. So that's something interesting that you can do. I can also just highlight it and delete that with my backspace or my trash button. I also included boundary as another vocabulary word, just calling attention to these so that way they can start to maybe utilize those in their answers. And I believe I had prohibit as well, right there maybe. Yep, I had prohibit. So now they have some vocabulary built into this video that they wouldn't have noticed perhaps before. And then at the very end, what I did was include a question directly on the video. This might help also for Edpuzzle, but if you can see here, the video will end right here. And at the very end of the video, this question pops up. Now notice I have a sentence frame and a word bank. I have all this right there on my video, so that way they can easily access it and utilize it. I also changed the colors of each of these just so it's more, it's easier to recognize what I'm looking at. Now to add all these different banners like I had, I just need to click on the add a new video track here. And it tells me I don't want audio, video, I'm going to add a new track. And then here you can see I have my different video tracks. So I just need to click into one of these here, and I can add a new banner by dragging that in. And now I have a new banner here. I have 4, but I don't need this one. So I'll trash that. I'll also get rid of these tracks here because I'm not going to be using them. So, but what you can see is that I basically added banners to each of these tracks. And now on each track, I have just a different, if I click into this one, you can see that I adjusted the size of word bank here. I made that just a little bigger so it stands out. I made the color blue. I have the background here for the whole thing is set at orange, but I could change it to maybe green if I want to, or maybe like purple. I prefer the orange because it just pops a little bit better. I saved my changes. I also inserted a sentence frame banner in there so that way students can create a sentence very easily for their answer and just kind of fill in the blank with whatever. And then of course I have my question right here in another box, and everything is kind of, I might even increase the size of this so they understand that that's the question. And then I could, of course, by double clicking into these, I could move them around to different parts of the screen if I wanted to stand out. But that's basically it, just kind of incorporating some different scaffolds into a simple video so that way the students can access and answer things immediately as they're watching it.